Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below. Good evening everybody and welcome along to Apex Online Racing. This is season 20 of Xbox One F1 and we are here at the halfway point of the season, round number 11 for the Austrian Grand Prix. We're at the mountains of Spielberg at the Red Bull Ring. It was renamed the Red Bull Ring back in 2011 and this very circuit made its reappearance back in 2014, where the race was won by Nico Rosberg in a Mercedes. It's raced there ever since, and it's to date my favourite race to watch in real life and in league racing. It always provides a spectacular league racing spectacle, if that makes sense. And there's one particular corner to watch out for, and that is turn 1, because it was renamed the Niki Lauda curve in tribute to Niki Lauda, who has won 3 world titles. So, without further ado, guys, are you ready to sit back and watch some qualifying action? I know I am, so let's get cracking then. Here we are. It is a nice sunny day in Europe in the Austrian Grand Prix. So it's a 50% race today. 4.3 kilometers long this circuit. 10 corners, making it the shortest lap on the F1 calendar. Laps closer to the 1 minute range today. So people are more than likely going to go out more than about 2 times today to get their good laps, because it's going to be closer to the 1 minute 2s, I would say, 1 minute 1s today. It is 10 corners, 3 to the left and 7 to the right, and potentially I'll probably get some of the corner numbers wrong at some particular bits of the circuit, but oh wow. But anyway, tyre deck, not too bad around here. It's around about the C4s, the C3s and the C2. So the second highest that the Pirelli are bringing to the range, and the deltas are 0.8 seconds slower than the softs if you're on the mediums, and the hards 1.2 seconds slower than the softs. So we're riding on board with Count Pablo at the moment in the Ferrari, who had a really fantastic performance last week, who got a really good win after the race. It was very, very changeable conditions. It started off dry and then it was wet. And I thought it was going to be a 2-stop race because they went on to the mediums. I usually don't get told about the weather at all anymore. And it just changed things up massively. And the ones that were on the hard compounder tyres, they had the most advantage, or the ones on the mediums and stuff like that. So it provides some very good racing in that sense. But Pablo is going to have a lot of pressure on his feet now. He's the one to beat. He's got the momentum behind him at the moment. But can he carry that momentum to this week in a track where it's probably the most opportunities to overtake? It's obviously turn 1 going into the start-finish straight. And turn 2 and 3 as the Ferrari's going very slowly. There's a little kink at turn 2 as you just go up the hill. That is turn 2. And then you go up the hill into turn 3. That's turn 3. And you're passing going into turn 4 now, which is the next DRS straight. And then this is the other prime opportunity to overtake it. I've seen this in PS4 F1 earlier on today, where Blizzard went 3 wide to take the lead of the race at one point, which was it was great to see him perform like that. He just, pure respect from the guys who were absolutely racing at the time. But, you know, I wonder if it's exactly the same today. Now, I'm going to see if I can ride on board with someone where everyone's going very, very slowly. We've got 16 drivers today, more than last week. Last week we got 14. So, you know, I'm really, really impressed that the drivers are turning up on full force. But who doesn't like Austria? It's a driver favourite. It's a fan favourite. It's everybody's favourite. Okay, so I hope you're going to enjoy this. Let us know your opinions in the chat by using the hashtag AOR hype on Twitter if you want to as well. I think a majority of people are going into the pit lane, apart from Bobbers potentially as well. LGS has left the session. Hopefully he will come back very, very soon to start his lap. Anyway, let's go on board with Bobbert as he's on 8th and he's got the red glitch. I can't go on board with Bobbert. That is very unfortunate, unfortunately. So whilst I have to probably go on the outboard shot, unfortunately. A few things to point out actually around this circuit is the latest patch that came out a few days after the France race. It was the patch 1.13, and one of the most exciting features around here is both drivers and spectators can see penalties. They can see the other drivers' penalties. Now, the drivers can only see the drivers around them. I could see almost every single penalty. Well, I can see every single penalty, which is good, but it doesn't have any suspense anymore unless I get rid of the penalties altogether, which I can't do, which is very annoying. So it's just going to have to be, you know what the penalties are, which is good, because you don't have to go on to race director all the time, which I kept doing in France, which was very, very interesting. And also, there was a thing about part ferme as well, which I found quite intriguing, actually, as well. Part ferme has changed quite a little bit, and that means it's very, very important to get a good app in early on, really, to be honest. So let's just see. Now, Alex Degu has just invalidated his outlap. Can I actually go on board with him? Yes, I can. There we go. Let's go on board with him and just start a lap around the Austrian ring, the Red Bull ring. So most people know it as the A1 ring back in the day, before 2004, of course. So we're making our way through the Niki Lauda curve. It's one of the first DRS zones of the circuit. Overtaking is quite tricky in turn 1, so you're going to try in turn 2 and 3. Now, this is turn 2, the little kink here. And then you're going to be going into turn 3. I think going into first or second gear will be best around here. But a little bit of a swerving from Alex Degu as he just slowed down a little bit there. And I think he's backed out of his lap, so he is not going to take any further part. So I'm going to see if I can go on board with someone else. Let's go on board with Tom, actually, as well, the Racing Points driver, who's currently sitting third in the standings. He scored points last week, but he admitted to me earlier on today that he was not happy with his result, and he wants to strive for better. He's got a few podiums. He got 3 P2s this season, but he wants to convert it to a win eventually. So let's go on board heading into turn 4 now, as you're going to get a little bit of a tow from Amaze as well. So hopefully Amaze moves out the way, which he kind of does. So you're going to head in towards turn 5 and 6 now. The corner you just go past is quite common to invalidate. Now, this track, I've driven it on F1 2020 millions of times, and it's so hard to not invalidate your lap around here. The track limits are strict as anything, so they've got to get it right. So you pass turn 9 now and in towards turn 10, another corner they could invalidate as well. DRS wide open, and it's a 103.1. That puts him in P7 at the moment. So the times are very, very close, and all it takes is just for one small mistake, and then that's it. Then that's them probably in the P7. Now, you would want to be in the top 5 if you want to be on the soft. If you want to have the best strategy, if you're outside the top 5, then you're screwed if you're not outside the top 10. Because, you know, you don't get free tyre choice, and the people behind you are going to have more of an advantage on the alternate strategy come the race, because the alternate strategy, like I said, tends to be a little bit OP. Luckily, LGS has just joined the session, so that is good news. So the DRS zones, which I didn't go through at the start of the broadcast, it is going into turn 1 to start from the straight, and then going into turn 3, and then just straightly followed after that. So 2 DRS zones following after each other, and that makes things very, very intriguing. Now, the circuit layout has remained unchanged since pretty much F1 2018, and it's remained the same since Herman Teich redesigned it in 1997, so the drivers are very familiar around it, and they know what to do, obviously, and they're going to probably try and find ways to extend the track in qualifying and see what they can get away with, so they know what to do in the race and how they can gain a lot more time on it. So we've got 8 minutes and 44 seconds left to go, so we're going to go through the qualifying standing so far. So Pablo is on provisional pole with a 102.712, closely followed by Hawk, which is 7/100 slower than him. Hawk has been doing really well the last couple of weeks, showing his prowess. He got 5th place last week, but he could have been really higher as well. But he did really, really well with the strategy in France with a comeback as well. So brilliant to see. And he got a win in the last race before France, which was in Canada. Would he get a win again today? It is looking likely if he wants to challenge Con Pablo for anything. Now, Jonah, another race winner this season, is on 2-lap-old soft, which is something I don't get. And if you don't want to be, if it's a dry start to the race, which I'm not entirely sure what the weather is going to be. If it's a dry start to the race, wouldn't want to be on 2-lap-old soft at the start, because you'll be at more of a disadvantage. You'll have to pit a lot earlier, and the mediums only last 21, 22 laps. So it's a bit of a gamble, and the undercut is a bit OP on this game. So if you want to make it work, then you've got to try and stretch your softs as long as you possibly can to do that. So Bobbert is going into turn 1 now, and I believe he's starting his lap. Yes, he is starting his lap, and no rev glitch for Bobbert, which is great to see now. Now Bobbert is in second in the championship, a 17-point gap to Humperdinck, who's currently leading the championship. He got a podium last week, which I've got to say he was very, very impressed about. So speaking of the championship, let's go through the championship standings. So we got Humperdinck in first with 142 points. Bobbert in second with 125 points. Third place is Bobsleigh Gamer with 111 points. Fourth place is King Gont with 94 points. Fifth place is Jonah with 90 points. Sixth place is Cont Pablo with 70 points, joint with Squishy Panda. Eighth place is Alfio with 59 points. Ninth place is LGS with 54 points. 10th place is Alex Dagu with 48 points. 11th is Amaze with 41. 12th is Hawk with 35. 13th is Jakey B, who's not here tonight, with 26 points. 14th is Jam Pancakes with 24. 15th is John Pat with 10. And 16th is GC with 7. Now, we've got Monty filling in. I think he's reserved tonight, so he's filling in the Ferrari for Jakey B, I presume. So that is why we only got 16 full-time drivers, but we got a lot of drivers anyway, which is not too bad. But I hope we can get more drivers in this Xbox One F1 tier, so these guys can show what this tier is really about. Now, I'm interested in what John Papp is doing right now on the mediums, because he was the only one to go on the mediums. Everybody else is on the soft compounded tyres. So that is suggesting it is definitely going to be a dry start to the race. So John Papp now is going towards just past turn 7, and he's slowing down. So he's probably going to go back in the pits, which is not really a surprise. Now, the stewards have told the drivers to make sure they take the pit entry correctly. If they don't take the pit entry correctly, then they will be warned and they will get penalties. I'll actually read what they said in the Xbox One F1 chat if I could find it, but it's not letting me scroll up. So, yeah, I might have to look it on my phone instead. So, just give me a second. So, they reminded all of the drivers to take the pit lane entry correctly. So that means keeping it within the white lines, and for any car behind someone who's going to pit, please be more cautious. So the drivers have been warned. And yeah, and we got Lefty that's gone on pole position with a 102.505. Now the fastest laps are not showing at the moment. It still says Juan Pablo. So if I go into race director and back again, no, that doesn't work. So I do apologise about that. So I have to keep an eye on the left-hand side just a little bit more, I think, tonight. So everyone's going into the pits now. I wonder if it's going to be changeable conditions. Now, if you were watching last season, I was on my own for the second to last. It was the second to last race of the season. It was a dry to wet race. But the only thing is, for some people, they decided not to go onto the intermediate tyres. And for the ones that went on the intermediate tyre, it changed things massively. There was a few people that struggled and a few people that did really well and went on to win the race. So I really do hope we see something similar today where we see changeable conditions, because it just changes things up massively. We've seen that in France last week, where people that you weren't expecting to do well are actually scoring some great points. And definitely consistency is definitely key at the moment. So we've got Alex Dagu. I don't think he's going to have enough time to go in into the pit lane, but I think a few people will. Now, Con Pablo's going very, very early on his outlap, so I guess he wants some clean air. He wants to get that lap as quickly as he can. Or maybe he wants to get 2 laps in, you never know. But again, like I said earlier, that is a bit of a danger if you do that. Now, we do have a yellow flag, and I don't know what that is, but that's probably just one of the Haas cars slowing down for Pablo. But I think the Haas car didn't realise that Pablo was on his outlap. It's hard to tell, really. You just got to keep an eye on the track map, which is to the left of these drivers, while on this side it's to the right. But there we go. So, Pablo's about to start his outlap. So, well, his flying lap. Left it as well. Hawk's on his outlap, as well as Monty, Tom, and VRC GC. I never get that name right on stream, and I do apologise in advance, guys, but I'm rubbish at pronunciations. But I've got most of these names right whole of the season, so that is good. So the last person to cross the line, I think, will be... I think they're going up really early, so it might be that it's getting overcast. Now, watch out for turn 1. Now, turn 1, if it's really, really sunny, you get blinded so much. But due to the fact that the clouds have come and it's a little bit thicker, they can see it a little bit more, which means they can see their braking reference. And it makes it a lot more easier, and they're probably going to gain much faster lap time because of it. These conditions are best suited to the softs. They're not suited to the mediums at all. I tried overcast conditions around Austria on the mediums, and I couldn't do it. I wasn't quick enough, as GC has just invalidated. So yes, he should have time to do one more lap. And if everyone's on one more lap, then they'll probably be at the same advantage. So Pablo stays in second place. He does not improve. So actually, no, he's going on his final lap anyway, as there's a few of these drivers. Bobbers is as well. Interesting to see if any teams are working together, which, looking at the track map, it doesn't look like it. So I doubt that is going to happen. So it's all for themselves. They may have the benefit of having the tow from the car in front of them, and if they get that, then they'll be very, very lucky indeed. So let's see. Let's watch on board Lefted as he comes across the line. Now, that was almost an invalidation, but what is it going to be for the Red Bull driver? He does not improve with 105.4, I think it was. So he goes out again for one final lap time. Now, imagine, it's got really dark, so it may rain a little bit. That's probably why these guys have gone as quickly as they can, quicker than I thought. So Pablo comes across the line now. Let's see if he can do any better. 102.6, 3/100 slower than his previous best. Hawk is on a lap 2, as well as Daegu, who's about to start his flyer lap. Has he timed it right? We'll have to wait and see. Who's got next across the line? We've got a Haas car of... Oh, someone has spun. I thought someone had spun, but I'm not entirely sure. GC has invalidated. John Papp has retired from the session, but the checkered flag is about to drop. So, who is going to improve on their lap times? Hawk can only manage third fastest. What about the other Haas car of Daegu? He can't improve. He retires his car. Then we have Lefted. He goes into the pits as well. And then we have the other AlphaTauri car. I nearly called him Toro Rosso. Let's see if he can come from last on the grid. He goes 5th. Not bad lap from a Jam Pancakes. Then I saw McLaren. Oh, Bobbert's come across the line. He only doesn't improve at all. He is 5/100 slower than his previous best. Then we got Humberdinck, who has invalidated. I think it must have been turn 8 or 9 where he invalidated there. He was not happy with that at all. Tom is not happy with it either. So I think the only person to finish a lap is Con Pablo. And he's going slowly. So that is it then for qualifying. And Lefted is on pole position. Can he convert it into a win here at Spielberg? We see many surprises in Spielberg in Xbox One F1 history. I wonder if we're going to see the same again. As I think we're waiting for a few drivers to go into the pits. And we will take you through the qualifying standings. And it is pretty close this week, which is to be expected around Austria. We've got Lefted, pole position by 1/10 over Pablo in second. Hawk in third. Jonah 4th. Jam Pancakes in 5th. Alex Daegu in 6th position. SSR Bobbers in 7th. Monty in 8th position. Then we have got Alfio in 9th. Tom in 10th position. Humperdinck in 11th. John Pap 12th. Amaze 13th. Squishy Panda 14th. VRC GC in 15th. And LGS is in last place. So GC and LGS did not set competitive lap times, which is a bit of a shame. Now, you won't be able to see the weather soon, but looking outside my commentary box window is looking very, very sunny. Not clouds to be seen in the Spielberg Mountains right now. What a beautiful view I'm actually getting from the commentary box as well. And it looks like, according to the garages, looks like maybe people outside the top 10 may be thinking for a different strategy. But obviously everyone inside the top 10, for those we new to league racing, they will have to start on the tyre that they set their fastest lap on, which for all the 10 of them is the soft compounded tyres. Now, who's going to time this strategy to perfection? Will we have weather mixed into this? And don't forget, we will possibly have a safety car. We saw this back in PS4 F1, where a safety car changed things quite a lot because there was a retirement and they had to think a little bit harder about their strategies. It's quite common around here, safety cars. So I won't be surprised if we see one here, as we're waiting for all the drivers to ready up as we're about to go on to the formation lap. Now, I've just got to say, the PS4 F1 winner actually did 3 stops. So it must have been a hell of a crazy race in PS4 F1. But anyway, let me just, give me a second to get all the stuff we need for the race before I change over to the action. So here we go. There we go. We've got the action back. But hey! So, looking at the drivers outside the top 10, I'm quite surprised. We've got Humperdinck on the mediums, Amazed on the mediums as well, and we've got Squishy Panda, she's on the mediums. But apart from that, John Pap and GC are going for the gamble. They're going for the soft compounded tyres. They think going on the mediums, starting on the mediums, they won't last. So potentially going on the softs would be a more viable option for them. So the strategy looking like today is going to be most likely a one-stop. Soft to mediums is what most people are going to go for today. But if any of these drivers make a mistake early on, they can opt for the hard compounded tyres. And as you can see, this is predicted pit stop window. Lap 15, 16 is when some of the drivers may pit. The softs can only last 16 laps around here, but a few of the guys will probably go a little bit earlier than lap 15, 16, I would say, because of the undercut. But that means they'll have to save their tyres at the opening stint and try and get as much clear air as they possibly can. So 36 laps await our drivers. The shortest lap on the F1 calendar. Who is going to win this race? We saw 2 cracking races in real life for the Austrian Grand Prix and the Syrian Grand Prix, where we saw wet qualifying as well. We didn't see a wet qualifying today. I kind of wish we did, but we did see one in a PS4 F1. And we did get into the 102s. We didn't quite get into the 101s. But maybe next time when AOR Xbox F1 visited here, we could see going to the 101s. So anyway, the 5 red lights await our drivers here today. Here we go. It's a very long hold. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we are underway in the Spielberg Mountains, and it's a pretty good start from the left as they all make it through. Turn 1, Pablo's going to try and go through the inside, but we got the Williams having a good start off Hawk as well as he tries to get past Pablo. Pablo has been caught napping at this moment in time. Everyone has got through scot-free by the looks of things as they're all using their overtake. Just past turn 2 now and going towards turn 3 as it's a little bit of ghosting at the moment. A few people being caught out, but lefted, stonking start right now. A few loud moments from the Alfa Romeo driver of Alfio right now as we get a view from his helmet as he tries to make past turn 4. And yep, he is lagging quite a bit here in Austria. So I'm not going to be following him, unfortunately. But it may be my internet, it may be his internet. I'm not entirely sure about that. But lefted has got a really comfortable gap over Pablo at this moment in time. But don't forget, the DRS will be enabled in lap 3. So that is when they can use it if they were within 1 second of the car behind. And we can see the doubters now. And John Papp did get caught in damage by the looks of things. So here he goes into the pit lane. So what tyres does he goes on to? The medium tyres. So he wants to get there as quickly. Now there was no damage. So I'm guessing he just thought that starting on the soft just wasn't the best idea. So we are seeing some moves up front. So that's going to be intriguing. We got Bobbers. Jam Pancakes has had a good start. Jam Pancakes up into 5th place, which is absolutely amazing. So well done to the AlphaTauri driver. Now, he has gained quite a bit already. He stayed where we are, but 5th place, if you do stay where you are at times, it really does help you. But you don't want to get held up with the cars behind and in front, because otherwise you're going to be stuck in a sandwich for quite a bit. So, can the Bobbers try and make the move? Now, we see some people try and make the move towards turn 8 in, obviously, PS4, but we're probably not going to see it here today unless people can be a bit risky. I do know these guys do like to take some risks around here. And already DRS enabled. And we are seeing the yellow warning light come very, very early. So most of these guys are using Richard's GC has spun on his own there. Luckily his Ghosty Beast hit the wall. So we will have to dive it into the pits, unfortunately, due to damage. Now that is a shame. And he's retired on track. You are not meant to retire on tracks. It may cause quite a few glitches, unfortunately. But he goes into, I think, where the F2 paddock is by the looks of things. So I don't think there is a safety car there. But you can see a train of cars really starting to form here. Lefted has brought the gap to 1.3 seconds. So Pablo is out of DRS range. That puts music into Hawk's ears in third, because he is in DRS range of the Ferrari. And he can gain just about whichever he wants. I think he's gained a lot on the corners. Can he gain a bit on the straight? I think he's going to go to around about 5 tenths per second here. Or maybe not. I really don't have a clue. Again, we'll have to find out. Now, we got a closer battle between Bobbers and Pancakes. Bobbers has gained 1 position in this race already. Pancakes maybe about to lose 1. Bobbers getting the better exit speed. Into turn 3, goes to the right-hand side. Can he make the move? Yes, he can. But look at this. Pancakes not getting the switchback. Pancakes, what a move there. Pancakes with the DRS. He says, thank you very much. There he goes. What about Bobbers? Bobbers is going to be on the combat of dreams. Pancakes with the lock-up. But that doesn't hurt him a lot. So, Jam Pancakes says, thank you. And Jam Pancakes, bravo. That was absolutely fantastic. Well executed. And he stays in P5. He was like to Bobbers, you're not having the P5 that I deserve. So this is going to be quite interesting between the both of them. Let's hope none of them make a mistake here. Now the other battle is a battle for 9th place. Now don't forget, the guy that we're in front of is Humperdinck. He is your championship leader. You can see his championship rival Bobbers a few places ahead of him, and there is a few people in the Xbox chat that has predicted for Humperdinck to lose the championship lead tonight. And you don't want to lose a championship lead like this. So you've got to be making some moves very, very quickly. And meanwhile, Amaze has just got past Squishy Panda. Amaze up into 11th place. But Squishy Panda has got the DRS. She is pouncing. She is gaining on the Mercedes driver. I think she's going to look to the right, or is she going to stay behind Amazed? She did have the space to go for the move, but again, she didn't want to take any risk. But the thing that I'm worried about for Squishy Panda, she's got LGS behind her. LGS is gaining by the second. LGS is scoring some consistent lap times. And if LGS gets past Squishy Panda, LGS will probably get past Amazed as well. So that will be very, very intriguing. That's what I like to see. Some battles with the midfield teams. As we are starting lap 6 of this race. They can't make the move into turn 1. That's very tricky to overtake. And you can see the blindness of the sunlight in turn 1, which makes turn 1 hard to master. Even I find it hard to master on this game with clear weather. So here we go. Squishy Panda finally goes for the move that she was wanting to do for absolutely ages. But Squishy Panda is going to have no DRS. Maybe Amaze did it on purpose, perhaps. Or has Amaze made a big mistake? Squishy Panda, she's already gained like 4 attempts on him. So, I don't think Amaze is pretty happy with what he has done. Amaze almost made a mistake there, which may have costed LGS's race, but it didn't. And you can see LGS, he's finding the time that he needs. LGS is just waiting for either one of these drivers to make a mistake, which is the best thing to do. He's about a few attempts now behind Amaze. What could he do heading towards turn 9? Now, very interestingly, no penalties so far, which is quite unexpected actually, because around this track it's so easy to get penalties. It kind of reminds me of USA. And speaking of that, I think I just jinxed Monty, as Monty has got a 5-second penalty for sitting in the pit lane. But here comes LGS, gets the run on the Amaze. Amaze is struggling on those medium tyres. We've also got Humperdinck getting the move past Alice Dagu as well. Humperdinck wants to make up for lost time. Humperdinck is up into 8th place. But you can see Alex Dagu warming his tyres up. He's struggling for grip right now. And you are going to see really, really soon that you're going to have the same delta on the mediums as on the softs. So that means the ones on the mediums could pull up a fight here. And that's what Alex Humperdinck just done on Alex Dagu. Humperdinck's around about 3.2 seconds behind Tom now. So I wonder if he's going to gain it just before we go to the pit stops. So let's go through your order at this moment in time. We've got Lefted, who leads this race, 1.8 seconds clear. Now 1.9 seconds clear. Con Pablo in second. Hawk in third. Jonah in 4th position. And we got Hawk maybe going for 2nd place. Hawk goes for a late move, late on the brakes, and that worked to perfection for the Williams driver. The Williams driver not doing so well in real life, but is definitely doing well in the Xbox One F1 tier. There he goes, up into 2nd place. But could Con Pablo give Hawk a run for his money? No, he can't. Oh, almost made a mistake there for the Ferrari driver. So Pablo has lost 3 positions because he was in, well, he was going to start on pole, but he didn't. Lefty got on pole. So he's starting to lose a bit of ground, and we are starting to get some penalties through. Bobberts, 3-second time penalty. Tom, 3-second time penalty. And then we got Alfio and John Pat, 3-second time penalty as well. And we did see Monty is out of this race. So we are down to 14 drivers already. And I think Monty did retire on his own accord by the looks of things. And we did see Alex Dagu getting a time penalty as well. You can see the more these guys are battling behind, that's allowing Lefty just to pull a few tenths per lap. And he's getting a bit more going just past the DRS straight. Lefted is going to be absolutely loving his performance right now. Let's hope he can keep this up. But there is a danger. It's like we saw in the Turkish Grand Prix last week. We saw the likes of Lance Stroll pushing on his tyres. Alex Albon pushing on his tyres, and it caused them to lose so much pace. And that meant the ones that were saving on their tyres, such as Lewis Hamilton, such as Sergio Perez, do very, very well, and they went on to get P1 and P2 of the race. So we could see something similar here, but it's quite hot. Obviously, not new tarmac around here because this track has been around for ages and has been obviously running since 2014 again. We've got a lot of people going into the pit lane. So we have got Pablo in the pit lane. So has he got damage? Let me have a look at the race director. So pit stops. No, Pablo is changing on to the hard compounded tyres. So is Jam Pancakes. They think by pitting now, they're not going to make it to the end. They think that going on the mediums later on in the race, they can't make it. So I'm guessing they were struggling with their soft or medium tyres, depending on what they were on. So that is very, very intriguing. I thought a lot more people would go on the soft to medium strategy. But the soft to medium strategy is not as obvious as in last game. So they've got to be more wary and they've got to be better at tyre management. Tyre temperature is definitely a thing on this game, because they also obviously got to manage their tyre temperatures as well, which they can manage, I believe, properly in the race. As Jam Pancakes has retired from the session. So he retired, I think, turn 1. So let's go on board with Hawk and see where Jam Pancakes has retired. Jam Pancakes has, I think, retired. No. Wait, is anyone going through turn 2? Don't think so. We'll see you. I think Jam Pancakes' car is going to go away, which it does, just as I go on board with Hawk, which is a bit of a shame, but it did look like the middle of turn 2. I think he may have done a Grosjean or a Magnussen or something like that, which is unfortunate, which means 13 drivers, more of a chance of scoring points. Alex Dagu has also opted for the hard compounder tyres. Will this make it until the end? Which it does. So looking at the tyre data that I have got, the hard tyres last 26 laps. So this can make it to the end because we got more than that to go. Well, less than that to go of this race. And this could work well if they can manage their tyre temperatures. Now, the hards will be cold for the first few laps. And they may be more prone to having a little bit of a spin here and there. So they got to be careful. But let's see what other battles we have got brewing at the moment. We got Tom versus Bobbert for P3. Alfio goes into the pits from his soft tyres. He's been on those tyres for 11 laps. Here comes Tom around the right-hand side into turn 3. This has been a common overtaking move in this race. Tom, the Racing Point driver, gets into a podium position. Bobbert is going to try and get the switch back into turn 4. Bobbert's got the DRS. Again, because of the dirty air, he can't get past him. So Bobbert stays in 4th position. But Humperdinck, he's going to realise that the ones on the softs at the front, they're going to be struggling. So Humperdinck's tyres are definitely going to be coming into their own in a few laps' time. So make sure you stay watching for the rest of this race because we are going to be in for a spicy ride. As also on spun, that's Tom! That's Tom. I said we would be in for a spicy ride, but not like that. Tom, Tom looked like he lost it on his tyre temps. I think his sauce was struggling there. It'll be interesting to see what his tyre wear is. But Tom, it could have been, he almost made the same mistake as I did on a league race, and you lose so much time there. And you're going to lose so much time when you pit as well because the pit loss around here is about 18 seconds. So Tom really needs to get a move on. He's losing so much downforce on the car. He was in a podium position and he just lost it like that. And if you make a mistake like that, it could cost you in the long run. Jonah is now in the point. Bobbert could be in to get a podium too on his mediums. Now, we pit on the mediums around about lap 12, the end of lap 12. Now, the medium compounder tyres, they last 21 laps. So, he thinks that he could go an extra 22 laps. Maybe he's predicting that there could be a safety car. I still think that there is going to be a safety car. So, that is a potential good prediction to make that. And there we go. His pit window is open now. So he's going to be pitting within the next few laps or so. When will he decide to pit? Meanwhile, Lefted and Pablo are going for a nice move, heading in towards turn 3. We can already see a battle of the medium runners starting to go into full force right now. Tom goes into the pits on the medium tyres. But he's going to try his best to have a comeback. You never know. But here we go. We're going to see Pablo taking a risk, trying to get the move past turn 4. Now heading towards turn 5. Pablo with the best speed. It is the guy who is fighting for the net race lead of this race. Don't forget, Lefted has a penalty. Pablo does not have a time penalty. So this could work well for Pablo and not well for Lefted. So Lefted has to pull away from Pablo as quickly as he possibly can. And I just got a drink there because my voice is starting to die a little bit, but we're all good. We're all good. And the ones on the medium tyres, they'll be going to around about lap 20, 21, but we're seeing more battles starting to brew here. I did see a Williams car of Squishy Panda trying to go for a move past LGS. Squishy Panda, second place on the track. Amazed, got passed by Lefted, but Pablo did not get past Amazed. Now that's going to be crucial. Traffic definitely plays a crucial factor around this track due to the fact that this lap is very, very short, round about the 1 minute. So they'll be running around the 1 minute 7s, 1 minute 6s. So it's going to be hard for Pablo. Pablo is already losing a chunk of time. Pablo will be having none of it. Pablo's like, you're on a different strategy. Let me pass now. But Amazed, he's going to be staying on those mediums around about lap 20. So Pablo might want to take a few risks. I did see an M plate missing, but I wasn't quite sure which M plate was missing. But we'll have to wait and see as we go on board with one of them. Here comes Pablo. Goes to the right-hand side, and there we go. Amaze lets him past. Oh, that's close. Oh, that was very unfortunate. And we got a safety car. So Pablo was very, very unlucky there. Not many people go for a move towards turn 1 because it can take so many risks and gambles, and you may lose up your front wing like that, and that is very unfortunate. So that is going to prove brilliant for the likes of Humperdinck. And Squishy Panda, they could go on to the hard until the end, or would they want to stay on the mediums for a little bit longer? That's going to be very intriguing. I won't be surprised if a majority of these drivers choose to stay out. I wonder what is going to happen with this safety car. Now, it's going to take a while for the safety car to catch up, but Humperdinck is going into the pit lane. So it's Squishy Panda. The pit loss without a safety car is around about 18 seconds. You're probably going to be losing around about 12 seconds in safety car conditions. So for some of them, it is a no-brainer. Meanwhile, Lefted, Hawk, they are staying out. Humperdinck going on to the hards. They're going to be increasingly slower, but they do know they can make it to the end from here. As Amazed has left the session. I wonder if it was a rage quit or if he disconnected. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was a disconnect. So there's a lot of things that happened today in Austria before our very eyes, and we're pretty much almost half race distance. Anything can happen, so make sure you keep an eye on this for the rest of this race. Don't forget, they can stretch those mediums just a little bit longer because they won't be going full pedal to the metal for until a few laps at least. There's still quite a few people catching up to the safety car. So the ones that have pitted are as follows if I look at the stops. So John Papp has pitted as well. So let me just have a look. So Humperdinck has pitted, Panda has pitted recently, LGS has pitted, Amaze has pitted, John Papp has pitted recently during the safety car period, Alfio has pitted, and so has Alex Dago. Tom, Bobbert, Hawk and Lefted, they have decided to stay out. So there we go. And I've got to say, I will try and not jinx these people again, because probably it's going to come back to bite the drivers, and it's probably going to come back to bite me. So, looking at penalties now. Lefted has got 3 seconds worth of penalties. Bobbers has got 3. John Papp has got 6 seconds. Alfio has got 3 seconds of penalties. Tom has got 6 seconds. Alex Dagu has got 3 seconds. And LGS has got 3 seconds of penalties. So there we go. So the only people not to get a penalty this race so far is Amazed, Squishy Panda, Humperdinck, Jonah and Hawk. Jonah's in 3rd place. Jonah could be on course to win. Literally any one of these guys could win. We don't know which strategy is going to work out well here. And the safety car is coming in this lap. So it'll be now up to Lefted, the Red Bull driver, to control the pace here in Spielberg. For those of you that have just joined us, welcome. This is round number 11 of AOR Hype Energy F1 League. It's the Xbox One F1 tier. And we have had a safety car. Pablo tried to defend and went for a move, but it did not quite work out. And that is why, Pablo, your race winner from last week, is now out of the race. But anyway, let's get back in some racing action. We're about to go green here. Lefted has got a really good restart off the line, and so has Hawk as well. Jonah, not quite so much because he's on the hard compounder tyres. Bobbert is as well. Not many people have lost positions in this restart. This is kind of like attempt 2 for these drivers then. Here we go then. Bobbert is going to try and go for a late lunge on Jonah. Couldn't quite make it work. Humperdinck may do the same again. Not quite this time. Don't forget, DRS won't be enabled until lap 21. So they're going to be waiting just a few more laps until they could get the DRS working. Alfio is down in 9th position. He has got John Pap in his sights right now, and he's about 5/10. Now, with these cars very, very close together, if they stay close together for the majority of this race, if they get penalties, they are going to be dropping way down the order. So you wouldn't want to be getting 6 seconds worth of penalties around this track. You just can't. Alfio is trying his absolute hardest to get past John Pap. John Pap past the maze. Let's see what he could do in the Red Bull. Red Bull in 8th. Left it in 1st. It kind of reminds me of Max Verstappen and Alexander Albon, where Max Verstappen scoring some good points up front, whereas Albon not as much. But here we go. John Pratt goes to the white very, very early, just at the end of turn 2 there. Heading towards turn 3. We do see Tom go for the late lunge, and we have a spinner. Alfio is spun, so we've had a lot of spinners here, a lot of spinalas here in Austria already. And this may change things dramatically. Meanwhile, we got John Papp and a Maze going for a move. John Papp now up into 7th place. What's going on? So John Papp on a really, really good comeback at this moment in time. He could be on course for getting some good points around here. And Maze could be looking to get some good points. He had no penalties either. But he's got Alex Dagu, LGS and Tom right behind him. Alfio, the only person not in this train. But here we go. And Maze tries to go for the move late on. Stays 8 for now. And John Papp is his next victim. And now this is the crucial part of the race. DRS is now enabled. So what does that mean? They can go just like they did before the safety car. And that means for some of them, they can push, push, push. Because they've been saving their tyre life in the safety car. And I know some of them will be going rich during the first few laps. But the thing that the drivers have got to be aware of is the engine temperatures. They can't go on rich fuel mixture for a long time. Obviously because they've got to save fuel. And it gets too hot, especially around here. That's a lesson I've learned. And we got another spinner. That is Alex Dagu, who spun just after turn 4. Now, that was where Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon got caught out in one of the Austria races in real life. And that was where Lewis Hamilton got a penalty for it. Much to the relief of some people. But for some people, they found it was a little bit unfair. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Lap 22 then. More penalties are starting to emerge for the drivers. Alfio getting a 3-second time penalty. Bobbitt's getting, I think, his first one. Let me just check, actually, if he got his first one. Yes, he has got his first one. No, actually, no, it's his second one. So the only driver not on 3 seconds who got penalties are LGS and Alex Dagu. Meanwhile, Humperdinck has gone for a fantastic move on Jonah. Humperdinck is definitely on fire this race. With no penalties, he could get past Bobbitt's. He actually doesn't need to get past Bobbitt's, but he's going to be wide. He's going to be still stuck in the train. So as long as he could pull away from the likes of Jonah, from the likes of Squishy Panda, he is going to be brilliant. Hawk just got another one as well, so that brings his total up to 3. So he's got his first. Actually, he's got his first 3-second time penalty. And I think a lot of people are going to push for mistakes right now. Squishy Panda has also got her first penalty. That might have been towards turn 8, 9. Or it might have been just a little bit before that. It might be turn 8 and 9, actually, where she got that first penalty. We've seen quite a lot of people get penalties. Now, in some races, I have seen quite a few people get disqualified around here. And I think the most I've seen people get disqualified around here is around about 30 seconds, 32 seconds worth of penalties. You do not want that. And usually the guy that I am expecting to get loads of penalties, he's got none. And he just went for a very late move on Tom. But Tom's going to go for the cutback. Here he comes. But Amaze, excellent race so far. Great performance. Not much mistakes from him for the Mercedes driver. And because of everyone getting penalties, he could gain big in this race and score some fantastic points. They're going to be going side by side into turn 8. We've got Tom going around the inside of Amaze there almost. But again, he had to back out. That would have been a great move if Tom could go for it. Tom might have his opportunity to pounce right here and right now, but he could get blinded into turn 1, so that's why he's not going to do it. I think he's just waiting for the DRS going into the start of turn 1. Now heading towards turn 2. Here he goes for the late lunge. Goes to the right once again. Can he hold on to it? He's going to lose DRS though, so Amazed could work brilliant there, but Amazed lost it there. That's allowed Tom to pull away a little bit. That could cost Amaze. He's got to stay within Tom. If Tom pulls 3 seconds on Amaze, then that's it. Amaze could lose a chance of gaining so many positions of this Grand Prix. And now Amaze has got Alex Dago behind him. He could not afford to lose another position. And let me just get the tyre position. And Amaze has just left the session again. That is a shame. But anyway, let's jump back to the front battle for P5. We've got Squishy Panda in this as well. This could be very, very intriguing. So Alex Dago, due to the fact that Amaze has disconnected, Alex Dago has got back past Amaze. So Amaze now out of the points. So hopefully Amaze could get into the session very, very quickly. So let's watch these drivers just going past turn 3. Their tyres must be really, really hard to manage right now. And luckily Amaze has just joined back, so he's probably still going to get into this fight. And someone random has joined the session, but he's not in this league, so he just left, which is good news. But there we go. As we have got the final third of this race to go. We have seen some standouts. Who has been the driver that's been the most improved this race so far? Who has been your driver of the day? Let us know in chat. But the game is probably going to give a different one to the one I'm be thinking of. But so far, there's been so many candidates for driver of the day that it's going to be very impossible to choose at AOR. And don't forget, next week we'll be going to the home of British Motorsport in Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. And I'm very, very excited for this one. But this race is still not over yet. There's still positions to be gained. So let's see what Squishy Panda can do past Jonah again. 3 tenths behind. That's just not quite enough. But maybe she can lay on the brakes there. No, a bit too late again. Can Jonah get past Humperdinck? Again, no, we can't. So at this moment in time, with people getting 3 seconds, 6 seconds worth of penalties, Humperdinck could win this race just by the sheer factor he's got no penalties. Tom just got a penalty as well. He's got his penalties up to 9 seconds. But Alfio's got the most penalties so far this race with 11 seconds worth of penalties. You would not want to see that in a dark alley. So here we go then. Jonah He is in a P5 for now, but he wants that P4. He wants potentially that race victory. Humperdinck has got a race victory in Monaco. Well, we didn't see it on stream, but due to the fact Humperdinck got his time penalty removed in Monaco, that was what helped him get his win in Monaco. And Jonah got a race win just after that in Baku. So these two are the street circuit merchants so far in Xbox One F1. And they want to add another win to their tally here today. But if people around them are going to increase their deltas, then it may not happen. So fasten your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to say too much else, because if I say something else, then probably going to jinx people again. So we'll have to wait and see, of course. But this has been a really good race so far. For some people, it has been a race of attrition. But for some drivers, they've been pushing every lap and trying to manage their tyres at the same time. That could be very tricky. So Humperdinck is now 2.6 seconds behind Roberts. But he's got the chasing Jonah, the chasing Squishy Panda, and the chasing LGS as well. Who would have thought it around Austria? But Austria is one of my favourite league races. I've said it multiple times. It's spectacular to watch. You just can't go wrong. And these drivers are definitely putting on a show today. And watching out for the ERS battery. I have not talked about the ERS battery so far this race, but quite a lot of people are losing out on ERS. One driver in particular that is losing on the ERS battle is Alex Daegu. This is a track that you do not want to lose much ERS. 24%. The more you use early on, the less time it will take to recharge. So I think it's definitely going to be a wake-up call for him. And May's down in 11th. He is back, but he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get past Alex Daegu. But you never know. Anything could happen. We may see another safety car. We've already had one already. It doesn't look like that there's going to be any weather changes like last season. Remember last season when we had a dry to wet race? It rained at this point. It rained at this point of the race. Or it might have been a few laps later than this. I'm not entirely sure. But it rained then. And people were like, I don't know. What do I do? So it can be very, very confusing. But we shall see. So let's jump back to the front of the field then and go through your order so far. Lefted leads from Hawk. But don't forget, Lefted has that extra 3 second time penalty. Hawk has only 3. Roberts has 6. Humperdinck has none in 4th. Jonah in 5th. Squishy Panda in 6th. John Papp in 7th. But here we go. Jonah almost looking for a move on Humperdinck. Oh, that was very close. And Squishy Panda's gone off. She almost touched LGS there. But that allowed LGS to say thank you very much. LGS is up into 7th. Who would have thought it? LGS probably was not expecting to be in the points. So I think you'll be really happy with that. But Jonah, this is his chance now. If he doesn't get past Humperdinck in the next few laps, then this could be danger territory. And I mean danger territory. We're coming towards the end of this race. I kind of wish it would be a 100% race, because it would bring so much more of a factor of this race. But this race has definitely gone so quickly. And that leaves no margin for error, as John Papp has got another 3 second time penalty. So that moves his penalty tally to 15 seconds. Let's get the tyres up very quickly. So Lefted is on 16 lap old mediums, as well as Hawk, Bobbits. So they could be in danger coming towards the end. But Humperdinck is on fire. He's got to find an extra second. Actually, no, he doesn't need to find an extra second. He needs to not lose an extra second, because otherwise he's going to lose out on potential podium. So he's gaining by the minute. He knows what the win means to him. He wants it on track this time. Unfortunately, John Babb is out of the race. John Babb's out of the race. Let's go on board with Amazed. See if I could find him. Oh, he binned in the gravel towards turn 7. That looked like a very unfortunate instant. So we are down to 11 drivers. So Amazed in the points. And Alfio not having the best of races so far. Just going on his own right now. But fair play that he's not giving up, because you're going to learn more if you're in the car, really. So fair play to him. I would have just given up here and then. But Alfio still going, of course. Now we're going to watch his teammate Jonah on Humperdinck again. Very, very close to this lap than last lap. But again, not quite enough. Now let us know in chat who you think is going to come out on top in this battle. You can see Humperdinck gaining on Bobbert. This is crucial. He was around about, I would say, 5 seconds a moment ago. Now he's 2.7. We are starting to see between Bobbers and Humperdinck the hards being the best tyre right now. So maybe Humperdinck has made the right decision going onto those hard tyres. Same as Jonah. Humperdinck and Jonah's hard tyres, they can make it until the end of this race. Humperdinck was one of those drivers that pitted under the safety car. Jonah obviously pitted quite early on because he thought that the mediums weren't going to make it to the end. But here comes Jonah. Ooh! That was very, very close indeed. Just a little bit of a touch there. That might have been a warning given to Jonah there. But Humperdinck trying to break some slipstream on Jonah. Let's see how their ERS is. Jonah on 67%. Humperdinck on 19%. So the one that has the huge advantage going into these final few laps is Jonah. But we can't watch what's happening up front because we've got Lefted, who's going to be losing the win because Hawk has got less penalties. Or has he? Yep, the penalties still remain the same on track. But is it going to change the podium? We are on lap 34 of 36 here today. And Hawk has run out of ERS completely. He's on 0%. And like I said earlier, it does take a while to recharge around here. But since he's got that clear area in front of him and behind him, he could save that ERS. But he's still using an overtake. This is dangerous for him. If he just saves his ERS, if there's a danger behind him or in front of him, he could use it to defend the overtake. So that is very, very crucial for him. But he's taking risks. He knows that if he gets within, if he stays within that 3 seconds, less than 3 seconds for Hawk, then he's won the race, and that will be absolutely fantastic. Because obviously Lefted has got 6 seconds and Hawk has got only 3. So the penultimate lap of this race then. No sign of rain, and it's going to be really late for a safety car to happen. So it is a sprint to the finish for everybody. Everyone's ERS is running out. They've also got to manage their fuel. Their tyres are almost coming up to the brink right now. And Tom is going into the pit lane. And I think that is Tom going for the fastest lap. And he's going to probably take the point from people. So, yep, it is fastest lap because there's no change of front wing. But his pit stop is a bit too long unless it was a little bit of a spectator glitch on my end, which I think it probably was. So, Tom is going for fastest lap. But meanwhile, LGS making the move on Squishy Band on the penultimate lap. Excellent, nicely controlled. LGS are now up another position, up into 6th place. That doesn't make any effect on position because LGS and Squishy Panda, they are both fighting for position. So this could be very, very intriguing. It looks like LGS and Squishy Panda are running even on positions. And we are on the final lap of this race now. Lefted leads from Hawk. 3.2 seconds, 3.3. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be enough for Hawk to win this, but I think he might. I'm not entirely sure. I can't do maths on gaps, unfortunately, but we are seeing Squishy Panda going for the move, so they are changing positions again. Jonah's left the session. Jonah's disconnected on the final lap, but Squishy Panda has pulled away from LGS brilliantly. That is fantastic work from her. And don't forget, Squishy Panda's best result was a P2 in China. Luckily, Jonah was joined. Let's go back to the front of the field. Lefted wins on track, but has he done enough to win on penalties? Nope, he doesn't. By 2.4 seconds, this guy here, Hawk, has won the race. We've still got people coming across the line. We've got Humperdinck coming across the line. Oh my God, it's very, very close towards the line. It's going to be a photo finish between the McLarens. Squishy Panda up into 4th place. LGS up into 5th. I could not call that. The gaps are not showing because of how close the McLaren drivers were. My oh my, what a finish for them. Alex Daegu almost had them as well by 1/10. So we're still waiting for Alfio to cross the line, and that's it. But my oh my, what a final lap of this race. My voice is nearly gone there. And it looks like Alfio has run out of fuel, but he's made it to the line anyway. But Hawk gets his 2nd win of AOR. And LGS is your games driver of the day. But let us know, who is your driver of the day? And look at this. Hawk has driven absolutely sensational. He only got 1 penalty, but that did not affect him much. He almost got another one a few times. I was like, Hawk, be careful. But luckily, after that penalty, he got no penalties afterwards. But anyway, let's look at your unofficial official results. Well, your provisional results, I should say. Hawk wins from Lefted, from Humperdinck. Squishy Panda in 4th. Fantastic result from her. 14th position to 4th. Fantastic. And Humperdinck 11th to 3rd. LGS 5th. I would have to give driver of the day to LGS. Fantastic performance and great moves from him. And on the final lap, he did when it counted. So my driver of the day has got to go to LGS. I agree with the game this time. Bobbert in 6th position. Alex Daegu in 7th position. Jonah in 8th position. Amazing 9th. Tom in 10th. Then we got Alfio, your last finisher. Then we've got John Pat, Pablo, Jam Pancakes, Monty, and VRC GC are your retirements, unfortunately. But what a really fantastic race. I did say in my tweet, Austria never fails to disappoint, and to be honest, chat, it did not disappoint at all. So let me just get into the screen there. There we go. So we had drama, we've had some fantastic moves, we had some brave moves as well, and it just proved to be very, very amazing. I wonder if we're going to go get the same next week. And because of Humperdinck's fantastic performance in the race tonight, Humperdinck extended his lead in the Drivers' Championship, which we thought he could never do. Bobberts was ahead of him at one point, but all it took was penalties, and Humperdinck had much better pace than Bobberts tonight. But Bobberts actually getting the faster lap than him, so yeah, all it took was penalties. So who is going to shine next week? We go to the home of British Motorsport next week in Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. It's produced some great races in the past. Remember in season 18 when I commentated on an absolute classic, or was it season 17? I can't remember. It was either one of those where there was 4 or 5 cars fighting for the win. I wonder if we'll see the same today. Well, next week, I mean. I've been Jess Games 95, and we are about to wrap up the coverage here today. Make sure you join us same time next week for the British Grand Prix. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good week as well, and good night.